Hey there, Toonami faithful, and welcome back aboard Toonami Absolution, where we talk about the shows that made us us and the shows that made you you. Once again, we are your hosts. My name is Alyx.
I'm Sam.
And I'm John. Beast Wars Episode 5 and Episode 6, Chain of Command and Power Surge, first on TV September 24th, 1996 and September 25th, 1996. So, Chain of Command, Alyx, what the hell? Like, is this what Ancient Aliens is? Is this the belief system?
Yes.
I was so confused.
So a portion of this is that the Maximals show up at Stonehenge, and Optimus gets kidnapped by maybe other aliens.
It reminded me, there's a Star Trek original series episode called The Tholian Web.
Yes, it is very Tholian Web.
It's very Tholian Web.
Yeah.
What makes the episode is how many of the lines feel like even the writers weren't entirely sure. Because my favorite bit is like, Optimus goes, perhaps we'll learn the answers someday. I'm like, no, you guys should know the answers. It's a line right near the end as well. Like, what are they? Friends, enemies, or something more? I wonder when we'll find the answer. It's like, you guys don't know, do you? You haven't written it yet.
If I recall correctly, you will never find the answer.
Apparently, the wiki disagrees with you. Apparently, this is the introduction of something that comes later.
Oh wait, yes. Okay, I'm putting it together.
Who also have an equally silly name.
So part of the main conflict of this episode, before we talk about the drugs episode, the main conflict of this episode is that Optimus has fallen, and now Dinobot wants to be leader of the Maximals, but Rat Trap doesn't want that and also thinks that he should be leader of the Maximals, and then they fight about it, and then it gets better. Like, that's basically what happens.
And we learn that the Maximals, while the Predacons duel for the right to lead, Maximals have an election.
Yeah.
Which would probably work very, very well if there wasn't an even number of people.
Look at how your democracy has failed you with no system to break a tie.
This is also like, this entire episode hinges on and is resolved by the Predacons being clumsy.
Mm-hmm.
So for those of you who haven't seen this episode, first off, congratulations. Second off, second, so the episode starts with Pterosaur, accidentally getting Optimus Primal stuck in this weird device pocket universe thing.
Seed pod.
Yeah, seed pod, yeah. And then after all this deliberation over what happened, who should replace Optimus, it's Waspinator that just accidentally gets him out, and we're just gonna chalk it up to experience and keep chugging along.
Yeah, because Stonehenge is one massive device that fires beams into space and summons pods. But you hit it again, it opens the pod and fires out whatever's inside. A big chunk of this episode is Megatron can't shut up because they sneak up on them on Stonehenge several times, and then decide rather than just shooting you, we're going to be like, "We're here!" Like, well done, Megatron, tactical genius there.
Yes.
What I love is we also do a really weird bit because so Megatron actually says, like, "Oh, Optimus gone. They're going to be in disarray. Let's go attack their base." While Waspinator and I believe Scorponox go protect the pod because we think it's the stasis pod with another transformer in. Translation: new toys coming soon. But so they attack on the base, just stand there and fire at it with handguns because why the hell not? But then they leave. The Maximals go to Stonehenge, and the two who are meant to be at Stonehenge aren't at Stonehenge. So I don't know what those two were doing in the intervening 2 hours. Having a coffee?
Having a little Energon drink. I do love the implication here that Rhinox was the one who voted for Dinobot, by the way. I love this episode is so weird. And I did not remember this episode very well. And going back into it, it's still weird. The pacing in this episode is very, very strange. I think you guys are right in that even the dialogue writers didn't know what the hell was going on.
What I find really interesting is I presume, because Optimus does break the tie by saying, Rat Trap, you're the leader now. But that's weird, because I thought Rhinox was second in command based on the fact he's like Optimus's talking buddy. Like, he's always been the guy Optimus talks at when we need to get exposition. It's weird that the rat is the leader. Weird symbology in this army.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I do feel like the purpose behind this is really to kind of start setting up that like Rat Trap and Dinobot dynamic a little bit more, like because that is going to be a very important relationship as the show goes on, which is such a weird thing to say. It is kind, especially with Scott McNeil talking to himself the entire time. I think it kind of cuts down on costs for the episode too.
Yeah, that's what that was in place. So Scott McNeil could do everything. If we could get him to animate the episodes, we'd also do that.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
Do we want to? So if this episode is about the absence of Optimus, next episode is about Megatron getting his ass kicked, but it's also about drugs.
Yes.
It's also about drugs. It's about how drugs make you kick your boss's ass.
Yeah. Drugs make you great until they stop making you great, at which point you suffer no ill effect. So do drugs.
Yeah.
So what I am going to tell you
Lance
guys
Armstrong saw this and went, I want some of that.
I want some of that. What I am going to tell you guys is that drug episodes are not uncommon in the Transformers franchise. They happen more often than you would think. One of the best examples happens in Transformers Prime, actually, where Ratchet creates something called synthetic Energon, and it's bright green as a shout out to his voice actor. And it makes him super strong and hella aggressive, and it's basically robot cocaine. This is a thing. This is a very common thing in Transformers. Like they will get drugged up at all times.
So as someone that's not overly familiar with the nuances of the Transformers lore, is there as many different types of Energon as there is kryptonite? Like this episode, we get red Energon, just like there's red kryptonite.
Yep.
So there is a whole spectrum of Energons.
Depending on the continuity, yes. So like G1 Transformers, there's like a spectrum of Energon. There's like a bunch of different kinds. Then you get to Transformers Prime, and there's Dark Energon, which is basically I believe the way it's described, if I recall correctly, it's described as the crystallized blood of Unicron.
Oh.
That can be used to bring dead Transformers back to life, like a necromancy potion. And it's also robot cocaine, but evil robot cocaine.
Why, so you could be making this entire thing up, and I was to still believe you at this point.
No, here's the thing. I'm not. That's the whole. Talking about Transformers for me is kind of like talking about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I can talk about literally anything, but I'm not spoiling anything because it's so weird.
Oh, yeah. The drugs episode is a weird one because, yeah, I am now waiting to see if we ever get Pink Energon to go with the Kryptonite line.
Yeah.
But yeah, Megatron gets absolutely wrecked, which is fun to watch. Oh, he gets absolutely scrapped. It's a testament to the Predacon's ability to repair things that they can bring that back with no ill effects.
Yeah, it's also another episode that hinges on Terrorsaur
with his growly voice. I will say is the one thing I'm disappointed about. I kind of wish when someone got heavily scrapped like this, there would be a change in their design in some way. Like even if it's just for an episode, they have weld marks or something. It'd be cool, but that wouldn't like the toy then, so we can't.
Gotta reuse those CG assets.
You may be getting a little of that in season 3 of this show.
Oh, finally, I'll. That'll be next February. Lovely.
Remember, John, you've got your show in between, and I've got the next season of Space Ghost.
Oh, I may just pull the Band-Aid off.
Go straight through.
Yeah, this episode's fun because there's a load of really weird bits because the drug metaphor's there, and it's cool to see Megatron get scrapped. But then you have the middle section, which is called "We're extending this episode by any means possible," where we have the weird debate where like Cheetor comes back like, "Oh, there's a flying mountain because of Energon," and everyone disagrees with him. In a way, it's like, guys, Stonehenge just fired a beam into space. Flying mountain isn't that weird? And like they can't scan it for some reason, so we have to have like a couple of minute sequence where they're like scanning the area and going, well, it can't be a flying mountain. That would be weird. By the way, I turned into a monkey. This episode is 20 minutes, but it feels like it was a 10-minute script, and we are just pulling.
Yeah. We also got to throw in. We also have to throw in Optimus and Rat Trap somewhere. We could just have the Predacons squabbling amongst themselves, but no, this is how we're gonna blow up the mountain of Energon crack.
Just with bombs. It's a delightfully simple solution to this problem. Just ordnance. I do love the image of Rat Trap in rat mode flying on Optimus's back in robot mode. It just it's the goofiest thing in the world.
Stop wiggling around, Rat Trap.
There's got to be something, because if you notice the ending when they're in the jungle background is surprisingly low res. I don't think that's the normal thing they use. I think they
ran out of money for the episode.
It really did look like we screenshotted an earlier render and put it as a plane, and that's just it.
There's so much happening in these two episodes. The thing I appreciate about Beast Wars is you can say a lot of things about it, but it is not a boring show. There is always something going on.
I did not see any of this coming, is my main thing. Also, I love these two episodes. We see Dinobot debuts 2 new moves. Letting Megatron's face headbutt his foot with his delightfully slow flying kick, and he can fire beams from his eyes now.
That will be recurring. The eye beams are a very core part of his kit. So.
Is it because we're not going to use the drill anymore because the drill looks terrible? Because I noticed he stopped using the drill.
We will continue to use the drill in certain places.
Because the drill has looked awful every single time they bring it out and makes no sense.
It's not going to look better.
I do find it interesting that, last week was 2 Cheetor-centric or Cheetor-driven episodes. And this week is 2 Pterosaur-driven episodes. I don't know if there's somebody... I don't know what the writer's room was like, or when they were sequencing these things. It's these are... this is going to be our Cheetor block. This is going to be our Pterosaur block. Which makes me wonder who's going to get the spotlight next week, frankly.
It's loaded to cash.
You gotta sell those toys, man. If you're gonna sell the toys, they gotta have their own episodes.
The highlight for me is for Deuceman at home, we have a jellyfin server, and the screen we have for that, when an episode finishes, we'll show you the next episodes in the queue with their description. So I just see now and again little bits of future Transformers, like the phrase "immortal soul" in 3 episodes' time, and I'm like, well, don't know. I'm like, where are we going with this?
Oh man, hang on. I need to make sure that is the episode I think it is, because if it is, we're in for such a treat.
Oh, well, when you're doing that, I'm going to throw out a couple of weird, interesting facts about this episode. The first episode of the 2, Chain of Command, was written by Jesse Winfield, who's one of the founding members of the Reduced Shakespeare Company. If you've ever seen those guys perform, yeah. He also then went to a lot of writing for Disney cartoons. He wrote Hercules, House of Mouse, Buzz Lightyear, voiced one of the characters in Lilo and Stitch, the animated series, one of the aliens. If anyone remembers that. Also, there is a thing with the second episode. So, Alyx, you may have to help me with this, but there was a fan called Ben Yee. He used to run the Transformers Beast Wars fan community website.
Oh, yeah.
He gets referenced at some point in the future.
Yes.
They mentioned his username. Yeah, okay. So on his website, he had the scripts for some of these episodes scanned. And he had the script for the drugs episode, Power Surge. And that revealed something quite interesting. You'll notice in Power Surge, Waspinator does not speak in the third person. He speaks normally. That's because he wasn't meant to be in that episode. The original script has it as Insecticon, having all those lines.
Just a random Insecticon, I guess.
Apparently, from what I could work out, Insecticon was originally going to be in the team, but they swapped him. And then when they redid the script, they just give the lines to Waspinator. Well,
in the Transformers canon, Insecticon is more of a subtype of Transformer. So they were probably thinking of a different one that they were going to have as an Insecticon.
Apparently, the wiki that I found does have a toy specifically for something called Insecticon. Maybe I'm misreading it.
No, there are very specific Insecticons. There are specific ones.
Oh, no, there was a guy. Yeah, okay, it's the character was meant to be the guy who had that line.
And that would be very fun.
Yeah, apparently he's not in this. So I was like, oh, that's interesting. And go ahead.
I did find it. The episode you're thinking of is going to be way further down the line. It is episode 21 of the first season. But
okay.
That episode is very, very fun for me. Yeah, that episode is very, very fun, and it's going to make absolutely no sense. It's going to make way less sense.
Unlike these episodes that made perfect sense, were perfectly logical storylines. The other change you'll see in this episode going forward is Scorponok's missiles have changed. They now have the Predacon logo on them, not the Maximal logo, which was a design. Because the original idea was that his missiles would have the Maximal logo on them. It's like in World War II, you see this soldier, American soldiers writing for Jerry on the side of their bombs. That was the idea with Scorponok's missiles, but apparently it was confusing test audiences. Which good on the test audience for noticing that, because I didn't notice it for quite a while. I actually had to pause an episode at one point.
If you had never said anything, I would have just rolled with it.
I do have to admit, one of the little moments I like is when Scorponok and Tarantulas are hanging out with Megatron and they're clapping for him and the little clippies are going. I find that there are some very weird little character acting moments in this show that I feel like don't get talked about enough.
Yeah, so it's that thing that some of them have committed to whatever animal I am now going to be that animal. Like the spider has its whole thing of being like, I'm going to have my own little base, my hunter spider thing. I'm going to use webs. Scorponok's going to click his claws. Rat Trap's going to eat garbage. But then Optimus Primal's just like, I'm still a soldier here. I'm going to read books by the moonlight and not really be monkey at all during my working hours. So it's kind of funny how some people commit while other people are like,
He's the philosopher warrior,
It's a hard bit to commit to.
He's the maximal Sun Tzu. This is how he operates.
So this is
to Kong or not to Kong. That is the question.
Not to Kong. Hey, we're not there yet. But this is where we're starting to see Dinobot actually get some of that character. Like he's referring to things as dishonoring him. Like we're actually finally writing down who this character is going to be well known as. And Rat Trap is getting more of his vague Steve Buscemi shtick going on, which is going to be a much bigger part of the show. I think in the next couple episodes, I think we might be getting White Tiger soon. Which I'm very excited about because that was my favorite toy of this line.
Is that a white humanoid kind of looking thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. That's in one of the preview shots for I think 2 episodes.
Yeah, I think we get him soon. I don't know when we get a Silverwing, but I'm pretty sure she's coming up soon too. We have more toys we got to sell, guys. There are going to be more toys.
Yeah, if you think about it, we're only not even a quarter of the way through the season. We're the foundation is set. We've only just introduced Tarantulas last week. Yeah, we've got to fill out those rosters, guys.
Yeah, and we kind of set up this week with everyone going for stasis pods because we're kind of establishing that they're going to be our new MacGuffin for a little bit. Unfortunately, the spaceship isn't a toy you could buy, which is a shame because I thought that'd be quite a fun.
No, just the just the
you have a spring in it that fires the toy out. That'd be neat. I just want a Stonehenge playset,
complete with the Energon deposit.
That would be so fun.
I could probably go to the actual Stonehenge and buy a Stonehenge toy and just add some crystals.
Yeah.
This does also we have talked a little bit about this, but Rat Trap does bring up the I thought this planet was uninhabited thing. Yeah. And that's where a lot of the timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly nonsense is going to start to kick in soon.
And then Rhinox repeatedly hammers the point home with, it's hard to believe this is natural. It's like, oh God, Rhinox, don't. I want to point out my favorite moment of this episode is Rat Trap fighting Tarantulas. Because it's basically the Vegeta versus Ariel fight from Dragon Ball Super, in that Rat Trap is working on gag manga rules, where he just slams it and runs into a wall, and he's so short. Then he throws mud at him. It's like Rat Trap is working on a comedic level. He's clown fu is his style.
Surprisingly effective.
It's well known. You can't beat gag manga characters. They break the power scaling.
It's very true. That's a plot point in Jujutsu Kaisen, actually, in the later manga chapters.
It's well known. It works in everything. The goofier your fighting style, the stronger you are.
That's the Luffy axiom, really.
It is. It is kind of funny because I am going to point this out because again, huge Transformers nerd. Rat Trap's character gets used really heavily during Robots in Disguise, the IDW run. And he ends up being the Starscream to Starscream, and it's while also being like his spy master, and it's actually a very interesting dynamic with those characters. They do a lot of fun stuff with Rat Trap there because like in the story of Robots in Disguise, that is the Starscream gets put in charge of Cybertron. Like because of political machinations and murdering the right person at the right time, Starscream gets put into a position of power, and then Rat Trap becomes his like sidekick essentially. But Starscream's also having a psychotic break, so it's actually like a very well done, weirdly Shakespearean, like Henry VIII kind of downfall he goes through. I wish I was joking, but I'm not. It's
Sorry,
very.
I've also now got the image of this Rat Trap model like riding on the back of a fighter jet, and it's the best thing I've ever imagined ever.
You're not wrong. I'm going to tell you this right now. You're not entirely wrong with
that image. Highway to the Rat Zone.
But what makes it very fun for me as a Transformers fan rewatching this is remembering just how influential Beast Wars actually was on the rest of the franchise. Like, Beast Wars reduced a lot of the cast that you had in like G1 Transformers. You had like Beast Wars started setting some comedy beats that were going to be very common and setting up a lot of very interesting literary background stuff that is going to be very I will tell you, I did pitch this once and I almost got it through on a comic book side. I had an idea of doing a Transformers comic based on the things they carried, and I got that close to getting it greenlit. Like, that's what this franchise is.
Oh dear. Oh, this was a weird. I think it's the aliens that took me out of this. I would say that the other one is pretty standard. Don't do drugs, kids. We're going to skirmish. We've got a MacGuffin. We're going to have a little skirmish for it. Classic RTS game story.
Yeah, we've got a mountain of drugs in.
Oh, we're going to Tony Montoya our way through Transformers.
Yeah. Operation Pablo Escobar is a go.
Yeah.
But it's about we had the aliens just kind of appear, and then because one of my favorite bits of we don't explain this episode is that we have Dinobot and all the others get teleported back to their bases, and we never establish why that is. No one thinks that's weird at all. Like, no one's like, man, maybe we should do something about this alien that's warping people. Also, it leads to my favorite Rat Trap line of, you just like an innocent orphan in a B movie. Rat Trap, what B movies are you watching? Also, why does Cybertron have B movies? Or is Cybertron all like, I can imagine Cybertron all human dramas are B movies. Like, they got the bloody humans in again. They don't move realistically. They don't twist horribly every 20 minutes.
Yeah.
That episode is an episode of questions, which I don't think we're going to ever have answered. But aliens.
Even though they Transformers themselves are aliens, there are now different aliens.
They're even more alien.
Which also assumes that they're like more ancient too. Just
yeah, they're older aliens who can build these big shooty into space boys.
Yeah, so if you thought the Maximals and Predacons were like ancient aliens in prehistoric Earth, there's like more ancient aliens.
Aliens even more ancient than a Transformer.
Yeah.
Whenever in the Doctor Who loop, there's always a newer ancient alien somewhere who happens to be a little bit older, but we've never mentioned before.
It's so funny thinking about the other aliens in the Transformers universe, because it's like, this is a planet of death robots. Like, that's literally what they are. It's a planet of death robots. What are you gonna do? Like, what happens here?
I love the idea that they scanned Optus, because imagine those readings. Like, we sent down this ship, we caught a monkey robot, and like, what do we learn? It's a monkey robot. Like, that would be that kind of thing where the aliens are like, probably shouldn't invade, it's too complicated.
It's too weird. It's
too many questions.
Weird. Like,
they stay in space because they too are afraid of what they have created.
I do want to talk a little bit about Megatron getting scrapped, because this is very indicative of a time period where you couldn't show a lot of violence in kids' media unless they were robots. Because when you have a robot, because Megatron gets dismantled. Like, the light literally goes out of his eyes. And
he is effectively destroyed.
He is effectively destroyed and ripped to pieces. You can't do that with something that's not a robot or a skeleton in kids' media at this point. But it's pretty gruesome. And the Transformers franchise got away with being actually pretty violent for a very long time.
Oh yeah, it was on my mind because I've been working on a book actually about Contra, the arcade game, which got released in the 90s in Europe as Probotector, where they took out all the humans, replaced them with robots. Same deal. Like, you can shoot all the robots you want with realistic guns. The second something looks a bit humanoid, Germans won't allow it. The Germans ban it. So everything in Europe, this was definitely this felt like a made for Europe episode. Like, he's technically a robot, so it's fine. There's no blood, and we can staple him back together.
I'm going to take the opportunity to jump on that tangent because this is what I do. You ever play German Half-Life?
Oh, yes!
Yeah.
We would say I rebuild robots for a brief second. This is going to be like your villain reveal. My Dalek.
I just love that German Half-Life is so different.
Yeah.
So weird.
For those who don't know, Germans' anti-violence laws for video games for years were some of the strictest things in the world.
Yeah.
So pretty much every big violent game got a different version in Germany, and because Europe is a small market, and because of how the formatting worked, companies like, we're not releasing a different one for every territory, so you all get the German version. And well, yeah, I grew up with Probotector, not Contra, because Germany demanded no humans be shot.
Technically, I mean, knowing the Contra lore better than I know the Transformers lore, they're technically all aliens, right?
Yeah, but they were too fleshy looking.
This is
specifically. Can we also talk about? I'm gonna again tangents. I love it.
Escape!
Eject button. Eject.
Can we talk about how both Contra and Metal Slug have visibly humanoid armies being manipulated by aliens?
Yes, that was a weird trend in those games.
What's worse than
pseudo? They tried it in Mega Man as well. That had a reveal of one of them that Wily was an alien. Was it 3 or 4?
Oh, I don't.
One of the Mega Man games had a similar idea. It wasn't to get around the Germans, but it was a way of kind of making it okay. And I also think a lot of the time it was an excuse. So if we did get a bit of flack, we could pull those aren't humans you're fighting. They're like alien flesh clones.
But they're called robot masters. It's right there in the terminology. They're robot masters. Is it because Dr. Wily looks like Einstein?
Yes, we don't like him.
We don't like that.
Yeah. But so Mountain of Drugs, the Inner Light / Tholian Web.
Pterosaur's going to be having a hell of a come down.
Oh yeah. He comes back to Angry Dad Megatron.
Back to Angry Dad Megatron. I do love Pterosaur. There is something about Pterosaur's weird little voice and his weird design and him getting the spotlight that I'm just like, yes, this is correct. I can't wait for our Waspinator episodes.
I love the fact they introduced him in this episode by having him eat a bird.
Is Pterosaur or Waspinator your favorite Predacon?
My favorite Predacon? Ooh. We haven't met my favorite Predacon yet. When she shows up, you're gonna see why I like her. I
like Waspinator because he sounds weird.
Waspinator.
I like him and Rat Trap for the basic idea of that they could have picked any animal. Optimus Prime, monkey, we have a cheetah, we have a rhino, we have a dinosaur, and these two were like, yeah, wasp and a rat.
The thing I do want to point out is that instead of having the mass shifting thing that a lot of the G1 Transformers have, which is why Soundwave becomes a human-sized boombox, even though he's a 10-foot tall death robot. The Predacons and the Maximals are just approximately the same size when they transform, which I think is very funny.
Oh, I ask a question, Alex. Is this the first episode we've had the stasis lock thing mentioned?
Yeah. So if you know about Transformers, you would know what stasis lock is, but this is the first time we're seeing it here. Stasis lock. it's not death. Stasis lock is kind of like, you remember, okay, you ever read The Death of Superman?
Yes.
Yeah.
You know when instead of dying he goes into a Kryptonian healing coma?
Oh, the Odin sleep.
Well, he's put in the I thought he was like dead. He's just put in a Kryptonian regeneration matrix.
He's like but then it like puts him into the like his something waves were like low enough that they can put it into it. It's that kind of thing where stasis lock is kind of like the systems that make up a transformer are failing so heavily that in order to protect their most vital parts, their whole like everything shuts down. And if they stay that way for too long, then they are like permadead.
Okay, so dead enough to matter, but not dead enough to annoy the sensors, is what I'm getting from this. Okay.
Essentially.
Because that was the thing I noticed episode. We're seeing a lot of like Transformers jargon, I guess, come in, because like we swapped our mention of time to cycles in this now, because we were just going on normal things before. Well, I think we're slowly introducing like specific Transformers words for things.
We're heading into the TF wiki. If you've never taken time to go through the TF wiki, now is the time to do it.
Looked up cycles. I saw how long the page was, and I was like, okay. all I needed was it's like Rels with the Daleks. It's just this. It's we have to call time a schmerp because it's more immersive.
Yeah,
but it's like me writing sci-fi every 20 minutes. Get to a proper noun, bang your head on the keyboard. That's what it's called now.
Basically. So, do we have any final thoughts, my friends?
It's Pterosaur's clumsy ride and wild bender this week. You know, it'll be cool to see. I think we get at least one new. We get my personal favorite Maximal next week, if I remember correctly.
I think so.
Yeah, so I have that to look forward to.
I've got that going for me.
How about you, John?
Aliens. Keep watching the skies, I guess. They're out there doing things and stuff. I'm very confused. Like I don't know why, but it's like I had got to the point where I was okay. I'd just become okay with the idea of, okay, they're robots that become animals. I had just kind of accepted that in my soul. And then we had aliens come up, and it was that moment of defamiliarization hit me in like wait, what? We can't have another set of aliens.
It's not allowed?
If you've ever had that moment where you have like something in fiction, you've had that moment where it just pulls you immediately out and you go, wait, what? That's not right.
I think the vagueness is what sells it here, right? Where they're like, someday we'll find out, or we may find out, and it's like, but you won't.
It's definitely that's part of it. It definitely reminded me of like when I've written stuff, and it's like we don't have time to explain this, but we don't want to close it off just in case, or we're not entirely sure if this is right, so we're just going to really vaguely say it in the hopes of there's another writer in the future. They can fix that problem, not me.
I, as a longtime Transformers lover, I continue to love these episodes. This is taking me right back to my childhood. I had a bunch of these toys. Pterosaur's horrible voice, again, is still one of my favorite things. That terrorize is so good. But those are really my final thoughts. I'm very excited as we continue through because, again, this season does have has so much insane stuff, and there is the most insane episode that comes up later. It's so good. But that does mean that we have pulled into our final destination on this train of driving Sam insane. That's right. That's right. It is time to disembark from Toonami Absolution. We want to thank you again for joining us and talking about the shows that made us us and the shows that made you you. Once again, we have been your hosts. My name is Alyx.
I'm Sam.
And I'm John.
And we'll see you next time. Bang.
Don't do Energon, kids.